It has been over 2 years since the right-wing controlled Supreme Court began its crusade against long upheld rights and privileges in this country. The first notable attack was, of course, against abortion in the summer of 2022. After decades of fighting against abortion, the right wing of the Supreme Court finally determined that the time was right and overturned Roe v. Wade. Since then, it has also assaulted voting rights and the legality of homelessness and immigration, and in 2023, affirmative action was shot down. The overturning of university race-conscious admissions by the Supreme Court was another action long awaited by Republicans. If abortion was a affront to the religious beliefs of conservatives, then affirmative action was an attack against the racial hierarchy of the past. Affirmative action, specifically in universities, was used to implement many different forms of rules to help bolster the representation of minority groups in college populations. Conservatives often rallied against these types of rules for being racist, according to them. The general idea that they had was that by trying to intentionally look for people of certain racial or ethnic groups instead of just picking those with the best application and achievements would be discriminatory against whoever happened to actually be the best student who applied. While this may seem to be a reasonable argument at first, it has devolved into conservatives being concerned that those students who are missing out would be white or Asian Americans. This would then turn further into an argument that students of other racial backgrounds were taking enrollment spots from more deserving white and Asian students. For those of you who have been aware of grievances with this topic, you may also be aware that this issue for conservatives with affirmative action developed alongside complaints about diversity, equity, and inclusion resources and teaching in schools or workplaces, leading to the phrase DEI hire, a term used to describe a minority who has supposedly taken the position of a potentially more deserving person, usually presumed to be white. This phrase has made the rounds in the news recently, with Republicans throwing it at Kamala Harris. This, of course, makes no sense, as Kamala Harris is a lawyer, former attorney general, former senator, and now vice president, whereas her opponent's resume is that he was an immature racist and semi-successful businessman. But let's be honest, the only successful part of his business was inherited from his father, so can you really give him that? In a new article from Reuters published last night, a study has come out comparing the enrollment of the University of MIT before and after affirmative action. This comparison found that most non-white or East Asian ethnic groups dropped significantly in enrollment, some by near or more than half. In previous years, Black, Hispanic, and Native American students made up nearly 30% of a freshman class, whereas the most recent class only saw a combined 16%, dropping by half. The percentage of Asian American students rose from 41 to 47%, while white students saw small but minimal increases. The idea that a randomly selected student body looking only at applications and achievements would lead to an increase in white and Asian American student enrollment has turned out to be true. That being said, an important thing to remember is that the students accepted through affirmative action programs were still MIT level applicants. These applicants would still have to meet the school application requirements such as the GPA or SAT scores. The increased enrollment from affirmative action in past years were still students meeting the requirements to be enrolled at the school, just brought forward from the domination of white and Asian applicants who also met the requirements for enrollment. There has been a lot of intense debate on this topic, and I'm interested in seeing how other colleges report changes in the coming years. But I'm also interested in hearing your thoughts on this. Does the government have any obligation to help minority groups reach and see similar success in attaining a college degree, or should this be up to the schools? As always, let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more updates, as it helps keep the channel going.